Hello, I've decided to do this as a video. It's a longish story, but it's very, very important, and it doesn't matter whether you're going to sell my product or someone else's product. If you're going to be a salesperson in your life and to be a professional salesperson, there's really good lessons to learn here. Okay, I was 32, 33 years old. I hadn't really been as a professional salesperson, but I've been a salesperson all my life. I had to sell products to two of the biggest companies in Australia. I was the state manager for Victoria, and it was the smallest of the three major states. It should have been up there, number one. It should have been maybe two, number three. So what I did was this. I had to sell to one of the big department stores. And on the 5th floor, there was the boys' wear department, the infant wears department, and the girls' wear department. The menswear department, when I was introduced to this man, first of all I was told he was a really grumpy, not a nice person at all, and you had to be very careful. So I was terrified from this man. So when the previous salesman left and left me in there, I would knock on the door, "Excuse me," I said, "Okay, if I come in?" "Oh, yeah." And that went on for a while. In the girls' wear department, the girl there had just come out of university, and she had a desperate want to become the first director of this company called Maya, first female director. So she was just 100% ambitious, always looking for ways to make money. The other guy, and this was, remember, a while ago when homosexuality wasn't as liberal as it is today, and I had to deliver a package to this gentleman, a big box, and he says, "Oh, you come through here into the storeroom." So as we went into the storeroom, he stood in the doorway so that I couldn't get past without going past sideways, and as I went past, he grabbed me under my box, not box on the box. So I threw down the box, got down to the ground floor, and I thought, that's not cool. So I went back up again, and I said, "Look, David, that wasn't nice. What you did was not nice. However, you and I have to work together, so let's start again. Can I take you for a coffee?" So I took him for a coffee, and the rumours all spread that Colin must have been gay because he was the only person that was ever seen taking this guy for a coffee. Now, Mr. Jenkins, I had heard on the grapevine, the grumpy man, he was a traveller. He travelled all over Australia and knew all the backwaters and all the pretty places. My parents were planning to come over for a trip, and I thought, I'll use this as an excuse, as an icebreaker. So I went in there and knocked on his door and said, "Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Jenkins, but I wonder if I could see you in a personal matter." Yeah, said, yes. So all of a sudden his whole attitude changed. And I told him, I said, "My parents are coming here, and I want to take them around some lovely places in Victoria. I was told that you know them all. I wonder if you could help me." So his complete demeanour changed, put his book down, closed his desk, says, "Come on then, let's go." So he takes me down the fire door, across the road to the travel agency place at RACQ, and got me brochures of her work. Say, "Come on then, let's go for a coffee." So he takes me for a coffee, and he talks about this place and that place and the next place. That relationship continued like that for another few months until it got to the stage where he never gave me an order. He gave me the order book, and he said, "There you go, Colin, just fill it out." Well, that was pretty nice. The other thing, of course, I did for him was I knew that he was only 2 years till he retired, and I didn't want to make huge amounts of profit, but he didn't want to make a loss either. So what I said to him, I said, "Look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put the stock in here on consignment, and each week I will send someone in to count that stock so that you're never going to carry too much stock and it's always up to date." How does that sound? Great. Stock service. That hadn't been done before. He was happy. Now, the girl, she wanted to be on the board of directors, so she needed to do anything at all. So I suggested to her, because we also made some clothes for the Miss department, the trendy area on the 3rd floor. So I says, what I can do is I'll put the hardware on the manufacturer, on the production side, and get them to make some smaller sizes, and you can then have highly fashionable items that would be down in the Miss shop. You'd have them in this area here. So she loved that, and I said, why don't we put on some promotions? So we did that as well. And I hired a theatrical girl who was reasonably well known for extra work on the television. Not extra, she did speak. Anyway, we did some wonderful things, and that whole 5th floor, we used that person to do all sorts of promotions and giveaways there. So that was what I did for those people. And then next door was the biggest retailer, Coles. Coles and Woolworths are the two big ones, really big. And this company we tried for a long time to get into Coles and couldn't do it. I was put in there as a sort of liaison, and I found it reasonably difficult. But what I did was I pulled right back and just made friends with these people, took them out for dinner. I told them, I said, I've got an open-ended expense account, why don't we go for meals? So then when we did that, I got them to bring their wives along, and I brought my wife along. So after about 3 months, got this really nice relationship, and I said, why don't you buy our products? He said, well, a couple of reasons. First of all, he says, I get a better product from China, and I sell it for your wholesale price, and it's a better product, better fabric. And he says the other thing is, of course, is your colours are just rubbish, which they were. They were black, dark green, dark brown, well, it's just terrible. So I had to agree with him. Well, so I spoke to the marketing guy. He said, no, there's nothing we can do about that. So I did explain to Peter that because we spent $1 million a year promoting our company, which was Stubbies, the name behind Australia, when people came into his shop to buy a pair of Stubbies and they didn't get Stubbies, they got something else. They might buy it once or twice, but they won't go back. They'll go to where they can buy the actual real thing, the branded product. So it was buying season again. So I phoned him up and says, hey Peter, can I come down and talk to you about your order? Yeah, well, if you want. I get down there and I didn't take a sample of the product because he knew what it was. And I didn't take the swatch card with all the colours on it. So I get down there and he says, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, I'll tell you what, just you give me an order and you choose the colours. What? He said, me choose the colours? I said, yeah, you're the fashion expert, you know what's there. He says, are you sure? I said, yep. So he did. And I walked down, he was on the 3rd floor in his company, and I get onto the main road, and I don't know if you've ever seen, we used to have ads where somebody just won the lotto. I get down there and go, wow! And I'd got an order for $7 million. In today's terms, that's $60 million. So I was a little bit pleased, as you can imagine. They have these huge stores all over the country. So I get back, phone up my sales manager, I tell him the good news. And he says, oh, that's really good. I says, there is a little snag. I says, but it won't matter. He says, what's the snag? I says, well, he's chosen his own colours. He's got 7 colours there. 2 of them we already have, but the other ones are what we would have called marginal colours. Oh, he says, well done. He says, I've been trying to get this done for ages. He says, but now you have to talk to the production manager and the marketing manager. So he puts me through, and John says, you got the order? His name was John too. John, you got the order coming, got the order. I said, yeah, wonderful, $7 million. What do you think of that? Oh, really, really good. And then I says, of course, I says, unfortunately, the order is contingent upon us supplying the colours he wants. Well, there was silence, total silence, for seemed to be a long time. And then all that came out was swearing words. And he called me everything under the sun, slammed down the phone. The following year we received the award, by the way, from the Prime Minister for producing our 25th million pair of Stubbies. So that week that I got the order for $7 million, I went back to my office and I made a big thing. Stubbies do not sell shorts. So I stuck it up in the salesman's office. This was on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I could hear the guys all coming in. I had an open door management philosophy. Look at that, Colin's gone off his head. What an idiot, what are you going to sell? It's Stubbies short. So I had the sales meeting, did our usual thing. Then I said, well, did you notice the sign up here, guys? Stubbies don't sell shorts. Yay! The oldest guy, chap, and he jumped in. Yeah, what do you think? What's what we do? We sell shirts. I says, well, how many shirts did you sell this week? So, 2,500. Ed, how many did you sell? Neville, Margot, Tony. They all told me the numbers. varied from 2,500 to 5,000. And I said, well, I've just got an order here for $7 million, and I did not sell any shorts. Well, what's the order for? I says, the order's for shorts, but I did not sell shorts. So the moral of the story is this, that I sold to Bill Jennings security. He didn't want to have loads of stuff left at the end of the year, he just wanted to maintain his profits, so I gave him security. The young woman, she wanted to become the director of the director in the company, so I gave her a vehicle to be noticed, and it did work. And the other guy, I just gave him respect. And Terry, I just told Terry, I'll give you what you want. What did he want? And I found what he wanted, and I gave him what he wanted, and I walked out with $7 million. So the same applies to everything that you sell. You should not sell anything. You find out what the customer needs and you give them that. And the need might not be related, as it was with these three people. In the department store, there was nothing related to the product at all. It was just a vehicle. So when you go into a store, your product is to attract people in, is to bring people in. And your job as a demonstrator is to give it activity, to make people say, wow, I went into that store the other day, they had this really nice person there and she showed me this wonderful pipe, look at this, wow, it's beautiful. Enthusiasm sells. So that's what you're selling, is yourself and enthusiasm. So let's now look at our product.